Hi, thank you so much for choosing to come and help us with our Bush Kindy program. This is the induction video, which is a compulsory part of you actually coming along and participating in the program. Part of the induction program comes about from us performing a very thorough risk assessment, which is conducted by our entire staff team prior to the start of each Bush Kindy year. And as part of this, we have identified the need for us to have better ratios and to have more helpers, and we do that through obviously ensuring that we share our program through the induction process. So that is why this is a compulsory part of you being a helper with us for this amazing program. So before we go into what the program is, the aims of the program, and what your role is as a Bush Kindy helper, I think it's important that we go through the paperwork first. So when you come in the morning, when you are helping as a Bush Kindy helper, there are some forms that you need to complete. There is this Bush Kindy Adult Emergency Contact Details form. That's actually really important for you to complete. So please make sure when you come along, you bring your details in your phone of people to contact in case of an emergency. We obviously have a duty of care to look after you here, as well as ourselves and our children. So we need you to complete this, and then this will be carried by staff in their backpacks. So if we do encounter a bit of an emergency out there, we've got this this information available, so this is really important. When you come and help us, each time you come, hopefully you'll come lots of times. You may only be able to come once, but if you do you get to come lots of times. Each time we'll need you to complete just a sign-in register, so we have a valid record of our ratios, but also who has helped us, and it's a really important part of the validity of our program, as well as ensuring that we've got the health and safety of our children are being catered for. When you, at the end of watching this video, you will need to just complete a Bush Kindy induction sheet, which just says that you have actually acknowledges that you've watched this, and that you are aware that if there's any other questions you can ask us, but you have actually been inducted. It's very exciting part of the process. We also have got another form for you to complete, and that is a consent form for us to use your images. Because you are going to be here, we won't be purposely taking photos just of you, but you will be in photos, and our photos are actually, we're a Department for Education site, and part of your induction is that you will need to give us consent for you to actually appear in the background of photos, or even in photos, so you will need to complete that as well. So you can see we've got a bit of a file of paperwork, so we need to make sure that you can get these completed, filled in after you watch this video. Watch this video, then fill them in, and then you're ready to go and engage with our children. So I really want to thank you so much for actually taking the time to participate in this program, because without your help, this program would not be possible. Like I said, we've undertaken a whole massive range of risk assessments, and part of those are what we're going to talk about today. So when we think about some of the big dangers of us putting on a program like this, it is definitely around us thinking about bodies of water, and so to ensure that we keep our children safe around water, which is our most important priority, is that we only access the water with an adult. We'll never allow children to go down to the dam or any body of water by themselves. There's always going to be adults around. So when you're here, we need you to ensure that we're always vigilant around water, and that we've got really good ratios, and we don't let children go far away from us, and we can't, they're not within reach, or they're not, accessible in an emergency. So that's something that's really important. Another one is supervision. And so whilst, we know how wonderful we all look in red, it's not only an aesthetic thing, it's actually about us acknowledging that red is an important colour for us in our in nature, because it ensures that it's really highly visible, and it also in nature represents danger. So the fact that wearing red is a non-negotiable. So if you could come to Kindy come to Bush Kindy wearing red, that would be great. We also do have some red jackets available as well, and some vests available for when it is warmer, but we've only got a limited supply of those. And obviously our children have to wear those as well. That's a non-negotiable part of accessing the program. I'll talk a little bit about risky play. Risky play and keeping ourselves safe is actually a really important part of our program. When we think about one of the main reasons that we put this program together is not only because it's beautiful and it's about connecting our children with the environment and building really strong connections for our children to then be our little eco-warriors. It's actually about our children learning to develop what we call our riskometer, for them to be able to really effectively risk assess in real life authentic learning experiences where they are being able to navigate their way through situations and to be able to develop the really appropriate, safe risk-taking. And that's not only for now, that's for us thinking about our children who will develop into, from our little toddlers developing into school children, developing into teenagers, developing into young adults and adults, and what that looks like for them as they continue to hopefully take those safe risks and know which risks are safe and which risks aren't safe. So that's a really key part of that. So this is where your role is really important. We need you to play a role in supporting our children to take risks and not rescuing them. Words like be careful, we just do not use. They're not in our vocabulary here at Bush Kindy. Phrases like have you tried, think about what that might feel like. Do you need some help? Is there another way you can access it instead of being careful? Are really important parts of developing our children as really effective risk takers and powerful learners. So your role is to be a support, to encourage them to take risks, but also it's really important that you articulate if you don't feel safe. You'll often hear us, and I encourage you to listen to our staff talk about that. They'll say, I'm not sure about you climbing up that high. That actually makes me feel unsafe. I'm a bit worried. And then engage in that conversation. Or if you're unsure, hey, let's go and speak to Nick or Janice or Kerry or Lee, and let's find out how we can do that in a safe way. So it's actually about still acknowledging that a child may want to engage in a risky behaviour, but we really want that child to engage in the thought process and perhaps have a go until their body tells them through their early warning signs, actually, I don't feel safe. And that's really important that we acknowledge that children will feel that and do feel that when you're climbing up a tree or when you're balancing on a log or if it feels a bit wobbly. Okay, well, what can we do? How can we help you? Again, we'll never lift a child up on a tree because we've actually robbed them of that experience of problem solving, how to get up there. We will always help a child down. So we will say, I can lend you a hand, I can help you think about it, but we won't take that away from our children. So when you're here at Bush Kindy, we encourage you to take lots of photos, just as we do on excursions. Those photos are really important for us to be able to share the learning. We'd love you to upload them onto our Facebook group, but please, like we say in excursions, please delete any photos off of your phone that are not images of your own children as part of our child protection guidelines and curriculum. I'm going to go through a few items here that will help us have a great day together. We have a whistle, We've got some spare whistles, and we've encouraged you to wear one as well as all staff. When you hear a whistle, our children know, and we've done this pretty much from day one when they first came to Kindy. The whistle means stop what you're doing straight away and come back. Sometimes it may mean it's an emergency, sometimes it's about us coming back together, and it's a really effective audio cue for our children. So please wear one, but also listen when you hear one, when you're out in the bush. When you do hear one, it means it's time to stop what you're doing, come back together. For us, we're either going to move on somewhere else, we're going to conduct a roll call, a head count, or there is in fact an emergency and we need, and you'll even hear us sometimes blow a whistle if we feel like a child has, is running away and has actually lost that ability to be able to safely risk assess. We'll blow a whistle so they can come back. So that's the whistle. I just thought I'd show you a map of what Bushland Park looks like. And talk to you about what our day is as well. So this is a map of this beautiful space that we get to come and hang out in. And you can see there's a whole range of different tracks. These tracks will be accessed through the time here in different ways. We generally will start with we'll come here in the morning, we will have a group time together, we'll go for a walk along to somewhere like what we call the Dead Forest. We'll engage in some dramatic and symbolic play experiences, and then we'll go for a bit more, and we'll have our morning snack together out there. Then we will come back, generally around back to base camp here, ready for lunchtime. At lunchtime, we then have our rest time. You can then go off and have a little bit of a breather if you like, or many people choose to rest here with the children as well because it's tiring work. And then in the afternoon we'll engage in more small group activities and experiences. So there's that. We would love you if you could bring your own backpack. If you are watching this prior to coming, if not, we've got a few available, but a backpack's a really great way for you to be able to put your morning snack in as well as a bottle of water to take. Something else that's really important when we think about the role of a Bush Kindy helper, your role is to support the program, support children in play, but support us when we're walking and engaging in those walks. Please, we're encouraging you to encourage our children to be independent. Please don't ever pick up a child unless they're hurt, and even still seek the help of an adult, a teacher, an educator, and please don't allow children to not wear their backpacks. That's actually part of them taking responsibility for their own belongings. So when we're walking, we have a child will be allocated a leader's vest, and quite often an adult will be up there, with them. That means that you can't go past that leader. That leader will lead us to obviously where we need to go, but there's also going to be a back leader in yellow, and no one can actually stay behind that person. And the idea of that is that we all stay together. We're going to walk, we're going to stop, we're going to wait for each other. A really important part of our program is about connecting and being respectful of our environment, but being respectful of each other. In the morning before we head off, we need to make sure that we spray our feet. This is about stopping root rot spreading, so this will happen prior to us leaving. When we line up outside, there's some diluted methylated spirits here. We spray that on children's feet and give their shoes a bit of a scrub, and that ensures that sends that really lovely message about children respecting respecting our environment. You're going to hear so many amazing things, you're going to see so many amazing things. If you get a chance, try and document it or share it with us in some way, because we really value your input and your feedback. And if you've got any ideas, talk to us and share your feedback with us afterwards. So thank you so much. I know we've squeezed a lot in. There's probably a whole lot more that we can talk about. Please ask us. But again, thank you so much. We're looking forward to a great day together.